understand the mentality of why they're doing live action versions of these super old animations, but Moana came out in the past 10 years.
Like that. Nothing's been that bad of this season, I don't think. Like, even the worst of it, I feel like is still pretty decent.
I can almost guarantee that he at some point we're gonna see Henry Cavill in one of these fucking series.
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 16 of Personified Fandom. I am Josh Meany, and joined with me the mythical movie man himself, Mr. Mike Daggs. Mike, how you doing?
He keeps writing these down. You had 2 weeks to come up with one.
I know.
You didn't disappoint. So here we go. Here's a hats off to you, sir.
Hell yeah. And also joined with us, the man of many names and many ways to get drunk, Mr. Toke, Mr. Ginty. How you doing, man?
Doing fucking great, man. Hope you had a great vacation. Welcome back.
Yeah, back to it, and we got a plethora of topics to talk about. A lot of things went on. A lot of things went on in a short time, too. Our group chat was pretty lit for like a day.
It really was weird because it was. I was thinking, what are we going to talk about this week? And I was like, well, we didn't get to some stuff last week we could bring up, and then it was like the last 2 days. It was like, oh, hey, you guys want to talk about some stuff? Here's an article you can talk about. Here's an article you can talk about. Here's a trailer you can talk about. Like, wild.
But to kick us off with some of our topics here, Mike, what are we going to talk about first?
Okay, so first thing that we'll talk about is something that got dropped 2 days ago, 1 day ago, whenever you're listening to this, I don't know. But the Blue Beetle trailer, which is officially the first DC movie. Shazam 2 was. But
no, I think
I don't
Flash
know.
Is. I don't know.
The timeline doesn't make any sense, Barry. It's all screwed up.
Goddamn
but
Flashpoint.
The trailer did drop the other day, and we talked about how, like in our private group chat, that at least 66% of this podcast has never really heard about the Blue Beetle. I haven't heard. Actually, I've heard about it in passing. Like, I know of it, but I never cared. I don't know his name. I don't know what significance he holds in that universe. I'll start by saying the trailer didn't super impress me. It just kind of looked like a generic superhero origin, here you go story. So my expectations are low going in. What about you? What about you, Tokyo? I feel like you have a different opinion about it.
So, well, again, like you, I had never heard of the Blue Beetle before up until James Gunn made the announcement saying that this was going to be the first movie he's doing in his DC universe. I was like, oh, okay. What the hell's the Blue Beetle? I don't know. But I saw the trailer and I was like, all right, it looks pretty fucking dope. I was stoked to see I think Susan Sarandon's in it.
Yeah, I was
like, dude, like, all right, I can get behind that. But no, I mean, it looked pretty fucking cool. I was. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, I'm getting notifications on my damn phone.
That's what that.
Yeah, that weird cat
that
pops up.
What the hell was that? Yeah, sorry. No, but I lost my train of thought. But no, I thought the trailer looked really good. I did see a little article and people say what it was. What they described it as an unapologetically Latino movie. I was like, great, awesome. I could care less about that, but right. I thought it looked enjoyable.
Yeah, Josh, what do you think? What are your thoughts on it? Did you know who the fuck the Blue Beetle was?
Yes, I had heard of Blue
Beetle.
I'm not a specialist. I don't even know his name, but I know a Blue Beetle only because the Injustice video games. I used to play as a Blue Beetle a lot, but that's really all I know him from. I know he's popped up in like Justice League cartoons and stuff like that, but I don't know much about Blue Beetle. But as far as the trailer, I thought the trailer was very good. I thought it was interesting enough to make me go, huh. Okay, I'm interested to see what they do, but I wouldn't say I'm super excited. You know, it looked like every other superhero origin movie that I've ever seen ever. It had little aspects of everything that we've already seen before. I mean, almost scene for scene, you know, like flying up to the sky and then coming down and like stopping before he hits the ground and splitting through a bus like clean. You know, it's all stuff that we've seen before, and you almost can't go wrong with superhero origin films. It's like we're suckers for them because we like to see like this come up story. The real struggle is when you try to do the sequel to that with this character that a lot of people don't care about, and then the sequel just is trash. You know what I mean? So I think the movie will do fairly good. It looks like it's got the right recipe to come out and probably do Shazam 1 numbers. You know what I mean? But yeah,
hopefully not
time
Shazam
will tell.
2 numbers.
Yeah, hopefully not Shazam 2 numbers. I don't know.
I think it's just weird because it's like you said, it's got the trailer. You could just cut that out and put scenes from other superhero movies in it. I wonder if somewhere on the internet someone's probably done that, where they just go, "This is just this scene," and make that trailer with different movies in it.
Right.
And you're right. I mean, people are suckers for origin stories, and it's also weird too because if it wasn't an origin story, people would like clamor for one, even though when it comes out, I feel like a big complaint is gonna be that it's just an origin story. You know, like I already seen this story before where it's gonna be a generic tale unless there's some sort of twist that it has in it that makes it stand out from other superhero movies. It just I don't know. I mean, what is the significance of the Blue Beetle going to be in that universe?
Right.
Because this is post, so this is obviously post Flashpoint movie.
Yeah.
Because that comes out. So maybe they got something under wraps where it'll be, you know, moving stuff forward. But it just, I don't know.
Yeah, James
I don't
Gunn
have
saw
high
it,
hopes
and he
for it.
decided he wanted to keep it in his roster for his DC. So he liked it, you know. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of faith for a lot of movies that people make.
Right.
This one's not one of them. But again,
fair.
you set your expectations. You set your expectations low, and you know maybe you can be happily surprised by it. But I don't know. Now,
We can hope.
Is there any other like thing? Like, is there any? What did he do in the Justice League stuff? Like, what is his power? It's just a suit that, like...
Yeah, I think it's an alien suit. I think it's from outer space, and it comes down and can basically... It's basically going to protect him at all costs. And even in the trailer, it said, and do things that you don't want it to do. So that's kind of interesting, but I feel like that's something we've seen before, and I can't quite put my thumb on it. Venom, yeah, there we go. There we go. Literally.
So, like, and I mean, again, so I will say the only interesting thing I could get from it is it's not just a super suit that's going to make him super badass, because that's pretty stupid. That's literally just Iron Man. But, so there could be a couple aspects of, like, you know, he does something morally wrong, like a Tesla driving by itself deciding to hit an old woman or a baby, you know.
I shouldn't laugh at that. That was terrible.
Splitting a bus in half shouldn't be a great idea, because I feel like it would hurt more people. What if someone's just standing in the middle of the bus?
I hate when they do that in movies. They split it in half. Everyone's fine. It's like, that's not... You can't.
He's not going to be fine. Yeah. Ugh. I don't know. That's wild. Sorry, I'm pulling up something else here, but yeah, who knows? I don't know. Maybe he'll have the balls to like make him do something fucked up and get in a whole bunch of trouble. But
yeah, that'd be dope.
I don't know.
That'd be different.
Yeah. So I mean, but on that, going from a trailer that I don't really know about and don't really care about, we got hit with the Secret Invasion trailer. Just Monday, I believe that came out, and I had forgotten about Secret Invasion, to be quite honest with you. Like, it's one of those that the storyline got opened up in Captain Marvel with the Kree, and it kind of just went away a little bit. They just tucked that thing away, like, oh hey, imagine if everybody is not really the superheroes. I think that I will say there was an interesting thing where they asked in the trailer, where are the Avengers, which is interesting and cool. I don't really know. So as much as I know about Marvel, I never really followed any of the Secret Wars stuff. Pretty much anything that wasn't Kang or Thanos, that's kind of out of my element. So Josh, do you know anything about that? You can enlighten us a little bit.
I just know little tidbits that basically the Skrulls have been hiding as like pretty big people in the Marvel universe. Like Captain America, I believe a Skrull was pretending to be and stuff like that. But other than that, that's all I really know about it. But the trailer, I mean, this seems like some good quality MCU content that I feel like we haven't gotten in a long time. It's very like Winter Soldier feels, Civil War feels.
Yes.
I mean, even some Black Widow feels, even though that movie was, But anyway, but I like that. Just more. It's weird to say a more contained story because I mean the story that they have in the comic book is pretty big, but I think they're just doing a smaller version of that, and it seems like this more spy espionage contained small thing. And I think that's just what we need right now. Like, nothing to do with Kang and the multiverse. Like, show us that you can still make good stories in the MCU. Like meaty stuff. Because I really feel like we haven't gotten that in about a year or two. I'd say since, like, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki. But that was, like, what, 2 years ago now? Whatever you want to call
those stories. Yeah, that's going on 2 years. A little, maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah,
Hawkeye.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of. I agree with you that we need some like good storytelling in the MCU, not just flashy explosions and convoluted stories that don't really, that are just trying to set up for something. Like this, it does seem more grounded and less. Everybody loves. I mean, I think unanimously one of the best Marvel movies is Civil War, and that one was heavily influenced by like, that kind of crime mystery thing going on, like throwing you off. You don't just know what's happening. So I think it looks great.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on it? What do you think about the trailer?
The trailer itself, I thought was fucking phenomenal. I loved it. I mean, it's and having something solely based around one of the great characters in the Marvel universe, fucking Nick Fury. I mean, there's not enough Nick Fury stuff in the movies. I mean, he's a centerpiece of the movies, but he's not like the main character. Mm-hmm. So, and I think having this show is just going to really fucking bring out some really good shit that we haven't seen. Obviously, this is after everything and after Infinity War and Endgame and all that shit. And because even at the end, it's like, all right, like basically this the final battle, one more time, whatever he said. It's like I'm fucking excited, and maybe we're gonna see some more fucking Coulson. We'll see some other people because we know that he really didn't die. He's still around because he popped up in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then what is it? Colby Smulders' character.
Mm-hmm.
Where isn't she actually a Skrull?
Yeah, her and Fury were Skrulls, have been Skrulls for a while on Earth. Because Nick Fury's up in that spaceship, just big chilling. Just needed a vacation.
Yeah. So this isn't a Skrull version of him, right? This is the actual.
This is the actual him.
Or so we know.
This is him.
Yeah. Or so we think, maybe.
Well, yeah, because Ben Mendelsohn's character, his Skrull, he was the one posing as Nick Fury, and there's scenes with both of them together, like in the show. So,
that's right.
I think so, and I'm excited to see Ben Mendelsohn come back, man, because I love him. Ever since I saw him in Rogue One, where he played Director Krennic, I was like, oh, I like this guy, and then seeing him in this, and even in Ready Player One, like I really like Ben Mendelsohn a lot. So that's exciting.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
And Emilia Clarke, that's pretty cool. We'll see how her character is.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it's exciting. It's probably the most excited I've been for Marvel so far. I mean, I still didn't see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I've kind of been out on the shows. I had this problem when Endgame happened. It was such a like cavern of emotions that like following those movies with like a tight story and like I want to say something that it's weird that I don't think we'll ever get that. I mean, it's not crazy to go out on a limb to say that we won't hit those levels of, Endgame, Infinity War again, because now it just feels like the media around that entire universe is so scattered, and with the the different timelines and everything, it makes it your emotions less so. I get that way anyway. You won't have these like tight story movie, and that's it. You get like these TV shows and these smaller bits, and then movies, and then all the small stuff that leads up to something bigger. But it doesn't seem like it's really ever going to be to that level again. So when Endgame, when those movies ended, I was kind of just like, all right, I'm done with it. Like I can't be invested in like I used to be. But this seems like. That I think because it almost has that feeling of pre-phase 4 or whatever phase that just happened. I confuse those all the time. It feels like an older version of the story that we know, and to me, I like better and love, because this newer stuff, it just hasn't intrigued me as much. I'm paying attention to it, and I will eventually get around to watching some of this stuff, but it hasn't sparked my complete and undivided attention yet. But this has kind of that almost that old feeling to me.
Where's your anticipation level for Guardians Volume 3? That comes out next month.
Yeah, that's the other one. That's the only other one, and that's because it again has that attachment to the previous phase. The Thanos saga, if you will, the Infinity Saga. And I just love the Guardians of the Galaxy ones, and I'm glad they're ending it. I'm glad they're putting a stamp on it. It gives like a finality to it, so it's like, man, I hope they pull the trigger and maybe possibly kill off somebody or kill off a bunch of people.
I think
and actually have the balls to go through with it.
I think they will
too.
Balls.
Yeah,
he will do it.
So
I believe him.
And he's on his way out. Like, he doesn't care. What is he's probably gonna nuke them all. He's like, I don't care. This is actually better for my brand if I kill them all.
Sabotage.
He just literally kills everybody, and he's like, well.
But there have been rumors floating around, and I've seen a couple of articles and theories, but would you be, Mike, interested in seeing a standalone one-season series of Cap returning all the stones?
So I would normally say yes, because I love Chris Evans and I love Captain America. I don't know. I think that there was something so beautiful, like in such a like nerdy way, when Falcon goes, "You met a girl, huh?" He goes, "You want to tell me about that?" And he goes, "No, I don't think I will." Like, I want that to be the stamp on it. Like, let us use our imaginations for once to just, you don't need to see everything. That's the beauty of some of these IPs, is like, it's great to see it, and it's great to see, cool things come to life. But I don't know. I think it's just, I want it to be left alone. We can just imagine what he did to bring them back. I would probably be okay with seeing it, but I'd honestly, all things being equal, I think I'd just rather leave it the way it was. I think everything from that ending, I think they ended it perfectly. I think it all tied a bow on it. Let's move on and do something else, let's get to other stories. There's other stories to tell. You can imagine that he went through and had some fun adventures, maybe, and got it all done, and he did it, obviously. So I don't know.
I think
this is gonna jive. This is gonna jive with a point we'll bring up a little later about going back and redoing things. But for now, in this aspect, I want it to stay the way it was. Leave everything original.
Yeah. See, I feel like there's no way. I don't believe that Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. will never be back in the MCU for anything. So I say, if they're gonna do anything with Captain America, anything, I'd want it to be that. I think that's like all I want. I don't want his story is done. But if you want to show me something before, fine. Show me, because I want to see his interaction with Red Skull when he brings back the Soul Stone. That is like a key, like that. I gotta see that.
Yes.
But if they're gonna do anything, I let it be that. Don't have him do anything post Endgame. I don't want to see any of that.
But that's a curious thing, though. It's like that's the only thing. That's the one stone that I don't understand, because that's the one thing that it's been stated it can't be undone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how is he actually returning it, or does it just get destroyed and just admit itself back to where it was? Or
that's the tricky part. And then they start trying to explain it to us, and we're like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, then you create these loopholes, and it again. This is why it just makes bad. Like, I'm sure that they've had these talks. I mean, they sit around and talk about these, ways to go with these stories completely all the time. I'm sure they're not just like, let's make movies and who cares. But yeah, it's super interesting, and I'm sure. I don't know. If they were gonna do it, for me personally, what I would have liked the best is like a almost like a post-credit thing. Like a little quick clips of him returning the stones and kind of just like
little vignettes.
Tiny like 45-second things. Like I would have loved to see him with Red Skull, and Red Skull been like, "You, what the fuck?" Like and just all these like little quick flashes to what happened when he was returning them. But other than that, I don't think we need a whole big long, show about it. It would seem, I think, to me like too much of a cash grab. I feel like that's the only thing that would come from it, but that's just my opinion on it. Everything old is new again, and that's what we're talking about, and that's kind of the theme of this whole episode, because they announced a Moana live action movie. Well, The Rock, because I guess he was out of DC,
and his daughters.
Yeah, The Rock and his daughter. He's out of DC, so he was like, you know what? Fine, I'll just go suck money off of Disney then. This too, I mean, I don't know.
That's exactly.
I mean, I don't know. See, I liked Moana.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it. I don't have children, so I'm sure that I'm sure actually that people with children who watched Moana and listened to the songs nonstop for 3.5 years might feel a little differently. But I don't know. Josh, what are your thoughts on the announcement of this?
It's stupid. It's the dumbest. It's one of the dumbest things I've heard in the past week, and I've heard some dumb shit. I've heard some dumb things in the past week. But I love Moana. I think it's like top tier Disney films, honestly.
Yes.
And I understand the mentality of why they're doing live action versions of these super old animations, but Moana came out in the past 10 years. Why are you doing what is the point of doing a live action adaptation besides Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson said, I want to do a live action adaptation? And I think that's the only reason they're fucking doing it, because they know they'll make money off it because he's in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a Disney property. Like, you mix those two together, it's so stupid. I wish I know they would do it eventually, but them doing it now is just, it's stupid.
It's almost like, it's literally, I don't see, other than money, there being an explanation for why they would want to do it. It really, because the only thing that can happen is it's as good as the animated.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to be better. It's just not going to be better. I don't think there hasn't been a single live action Disney movie that anyone has said it's better than the animated version.
Absolutely.
The only one for me personally that even comes close, and actually I think is better, the only case where it's true, is Jungle Book. I liked the Jungle Book adaptation.
I don't agree, but I get it.
But yeah, so it's debatable, I guess,
yeah.
and I understand that, I didn't really grow up with Jungle Book, so I never really I didn't really ever really like the Jungle Book as a kid, and I liked the live action one. So for me, it's like, okay, it's a toss. So, but none of them have come close. I mean, maybe you could make an argument for Beauty and the Beast being the second closest that it comes to live action to animated, but no one is pining for live action Moana.
They're asking for Moana 2, and they're doing Moana 2. So why don't you just stick with that? Put your focus into that. That's what people want to see.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see this except for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. God, I'm tired of seeing him. And I used to love The Rock, but I'm getting to this point. I'm like, I just want you to leave me alone for a little bit. Like, give me space. You're
Yeah.
smothering me. Like,
Yeah.
just go away
Yeah.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
I follow him on Instagram, and yeah, it was like that. Like when I first started following him, I was like, oh, he's like funny, he's cool, and then it's like, okay, shut up, man.
Yeah,
just shut up. It's like Will Smith was getting that way for a while too, a few years ago before he slapped Chris Rock.
Yeah.
It was like he was everywhere, and you're like, all right, dude, I like Will Smith, but come on,
He's just a walking,
get the hell away from me.
The human embodiment of the word brand. He's just a brand.
Yeah.
That's all that his
exactly.
personality is. Just branding.
Yeah. And it's annoying, and it's like, we know what you're doing. You're just trying to collect all of our money, and
Yeah.
just go away for a little bit. Let someone else do it, all right? Let someone else be the guy for a little bit. Jesus
Like Kevin
Christ.
Hart had his time. And then he hopped
yeah,
off.
and he
you know,
got
gave
annoying.
us
And everyone,
space.
yeah. It's, I don't know. It's weird. Like, next is going to be a Frozen live action movie. If God
that's
forbid this
inevitable.
this movie makes any money, it's just like, ugh.
Which one? I missed it.
Frozen.
Oh.
I'm surprised they haven't. There's probably already talks about it. Like,
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's fine, but it doesn't offend me too much. But it's just like, why do we need all these things? Why do we need things like this? Speaking of
Anna
things
Kendrick playing Anna.
yeah. Speaking of moving on to things that everybody wanted, that I'm sure, I don't know. We this isn't too much of it because we don't have too much to go off of, but Game of Thrones is coming out with a prequel, Aegon's Conquest, which I spoke about. That would make it an awesome series on this podcast, as a matter of fact, when we first started talking about House of Dragon. What are you now? So you guys didn't read Fire and Blood. The only things you guys know are the snippets of what they've talked about in the show. Correct?
Yeah,
because we've all watched the show.
Yeah.
So tell me, Toke, why or why not have Henry Cavill as Aegon? Because that's what everybody wants.
At this point, why not? Everyone wants to see him do something because The Witcher went to shit with it after season 2. And he got posed at a fucking Superman, so everyone wants to see Henry Cavill. Why not?
Do you think they actually would? Like, do you think they would? Like, I mean, I'm sure someone's in talks with him.
I could almost guarantee that he at some point we're gonna see Henry Cavill in one of these fucking series.
Yeah.
I'd like it.
Now,
I definitely like it. He can keep his wig from The Witcher too. It'd be perfect. Use the same wig.
It's
like,
easy.
Don't got to pay for a new one.
Yeah, it's easy. Now, still, the only on the other side of the only reason I wouldn't be excited for this right away is like I want them to just finish up House of Dragon. Like,
yeah.
Keep going with that. They are seeming to announce a million things Game of Thrones related, and this happened, I feel like, back in like season 6 to season 7 when Game of Thrones was like the height of its power.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, well, we can make a Jon Snow show, and we can make an Arya show, and we can make a Jaime Lannister early days show, and we can make a Targaryen show, and we could do all these shows, and everyone's like, yes, 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 yes. And then everyone hated season 8, and they were like, all right, we're not making any of those shows. And everyone went, good, I don't want to see any of it anyway. And then now House of Dragon's good, and now everyone's like, we're going to make a Snow show, and we're going to make a Aegon's Conquest show, and we're going to do this. And everyone's like, yes, yes, yes. Like, can we just...
I still want an Arya Stark show.
Yeah, I mean...
That's me.
Yeah, and Arya and Jon conquering the wild, even though there's nothing north of the wall anymore because we killed the White Walkers, and unfitting end to that. So I just want them to focus on House Dragon, where they are now. Just keep going. What are your thoughts about it, Josh?
I definitely agree with what you're saying. I want them to really focus on House of the Dragon. I would like them to like keep House of the Dragon fairly short too. Like if they wanted to just do 3 seasons and stop, and then put focus on another show, like I think that would be dope. Even if they wanted to wrap it up. See, I don't know the books, but I feel like even if they wanted to wrap it up after season 2, might be okay. No, too much.
No. George R. R. Martin said 4 seasons is the absolute lowest you could go, and I agree with him. I like going through, knowing what happens. That this is just the beginning of it is like if you kind of looked at them as chapters. Yeah, it's going to take a full 4 seasons with like season. I mean, depends on how they do it, and depends on where they stop too, because there's a lot of stuff that happens afterwards, after the whole Dance of Dragons.
Yeah.
That I would love to see adapted, but I don't know if they're going to, because it's technically after the dance. So no, 4 seasons you have to go at least. But to your point, yes, keep it at 4.
Yeah.
Don't stretch it out. Don't like.
Yeah.
There's so many like.
To.
This has been proved so many times. Like, you can keep coming up with good IP, like good things. Like, like I feel like like these mega corporations that own these titles get scared because they look at something like, you know, Game of Thrones, and they look at, oh my god, it ended. Now what do we do? Or like even like Star Wars, they were so scared to do anything outside the Skywalker brand because that's the only thing people will watch is stuff with Skywalkers in it. So it has to be involved with Skywalker somehow. So we have to stretch this as long as it possibly can go. And you're like, dude, you can keep making money off of that IP. If people like that IP, they're gonna watch it. And if you develop it in a smart, fun, interesting way, people are gonna watch it. So it doesn't matter if it has, you know, Han Solo in it. If you do a movie about one of the spin-off characters, as long as it's interesting enough and you put the right people behind it, people will watch it.
Right.
So they don't need to feel married. Yeah, they don't need, like, these companies shouldn't feel married to these characters, because you can create new characters that people will like and love and watch and follow.
The story of Aegon
might not
sounds
be
really interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
fire,
he was the first king, right? The first king of Westeros. And he conquered like almost all the kingdoms.
He did, basically all of them.
Yeah, like,
it's
I
funny too
that.
because like, it's funny too because they talk about it in the books. They pretty much tell you what happens, and it is funny to know like everyone is clamoring for this. But I think what happens with the Dance of Dragons is much more interesting. like it's a better story. There's more shit that happens where basically the gist of Aegon is he just comes over with dragons and fucks everybody up. Okay. So like, I don't know where you're gonna have too much of a like thing here where there's not a lot of you know, fighting. Well, there is. I don't want to say that there isn't, but I don't know. It's manufactured like battles. I'm losing my words here, but yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah,
again, and we don't have much to go off of because they just announced it and that's it.
Yeah, and they're taking a long time to get out season 2 for House of the Dragon, so if they keep that pace going, I mean, you could fit another show in. You know, if it's going to take you a year or two to get me another season of House of the Dragon, give me a show in between. Just don't get carried away.
Exactly. Don't be crazy with it.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm actually rewatching we started watching Game of Thrones again.
Nice.
Like, picked up where we left off. We're in season 3, and it's so true. If you go back and watch Game of Thrones, you find out everything that's going to happen in House of Dragon. They drop little tidbits here and there. Like he's walking with it's when Natalie Dormer's character's with Joffrey, and he's talking about the end of Dance of Dragons, and I'm like, I paused it. I'm like, he just gave away the ending right there, because this is stuff that happened in the past, and I've caught a couple other things in like the first season when they're talking about it, and you're like, that's actually funny that they spoil it.
Yeah.
but that's a nod to how good they're writing House of Dragons, where it's like prequels are tough because, you know, certain characters are kind of untouchable and certain people won't die until they're needed to die, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So we've been, as good as we were with Last of Us, we have been completely derailed and horrible.
Hail in comparison.
From The Mandalorian. Hail in comparison to Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I'm not even like certain which episodes we've talked about yet. I know.
We struggled last time. We were like, I don't even know what episode is what anymore.
Yeah. So I think we left off on the episode where Bo-Katan saves Din Djarin from and sees the Mythosaurus.
Okay, yeah.
Because you had mentioned that not one has been seen. I remember you, Toke, were talking about how no one's ever seen one, and I was like, because I was the only one who had seen the episode at the time. So I was like, not till literally this episode you're about to watch.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that episode has that like quick like arc with Bo-Katan kind of seeing like his Mando's like dedication to it, and kind of what I would assume is like getting an understanding for the Kree of the Mandalore, like walking the actual way that they do, never removing your helmet. Yeah, I kind of liked it. As a whole, though, I would say some of the negativity surrounding this season in particular is how it doesn't seem to have much focus, like directive of where they're going. It's kind of just reaching out. And I kind of like that. Like, I'm liking this season a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
Dude, I'm fucking loving this season so far. There's so many like little different things going on and little side stories that are intertwining and bringing it all together. But so far from what I'm seeing is now obviously we're going. It's like I don't remember the last episode we actually talked about. I know that was part of it, and I don't know how far in between episodes anymore.
But right? No, I feel you.
Basically to sum it all up is. He's bathed. She's bathed. She's not removed her helmet. She's
Jesus
now a
Christ, what show did you watch?
You know.
They bathed. They take off the helmet. Yeah. Like, yo, I don't think you're watching Mandalorian, bro.
The Mandalorian XX.
Wrong one.
But no, but it's they went back and what they had to. They went to save one of the foundlings was taken by one of those flying fucking creatures.
Yeah, yeah. And apparently that happens all the time too. That guy made a comment. He's like, "Yeah, this always happens when this." I'm like, "How many times does this happen?"
We always lose them.
Yeah, we always lose them. Like always,
what
them.
What the hell?
But the main part was obviously where Bo-Katan follows the creature in her ship.
Yeah.
Finds out where the nest is, goes back, they create a hunting party, they go and they rescue the foundling, which is not even a foundling, it's actually the guy's son. But then the whole conversation that she has with the armorer, and the armorer telling her to remove her helmet.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And it was just fucking powerful because it's like and basically now admitting that she has seen the mythosaur. You walk both ways. You walk the way of the Mandalore, and you walk the non-Mandalore. Yep. You can be the anchor that brings us all together.
And they're like, and our show needs at least one person's face being seen. So you can take your helmet off now.
Yes.
Pedro Pascal's busy doing The Last of Us, so he's not really here.
So he's not actually here. This is a stunt double. We need a real star here.
Yeah.
But I found it. It's just I really see like where I see the direction going is I really feel like they're starting a whole new settlement and trying to retake either the new settlement and making it the new Mandalore, or retaking over the planet Mandalore and starting their civilization all over again.
Yeah, it's a nice arcs within the arcs. Like you're having Bo-Katan's character realize the importance of Mandalorians, not just running shit because she wants to be in charge, but actually like respecting the culture and the lore of it. And then you also have the armor realizing like, hey, not everything's black and white here. There are rules, but we for our people's sake to expand again. Like obviously the way they're doing it wasn't working by hiding out on planets and getting attacked by birds every other week, apparently. So yeah, it's interesting. I like and I don't like, so I did say that there doesn't feel like there's a narrative, but there is. I mean, this is a very Mandalorian focused season. Like sometimes they are spreading. Now, before I go off on a tangent, what are your thoughts on it, Eric? What about the newer episodes with like the pirate episode, the ship?
Yeah, the pirate episode
today's.
Dude, it was badass.
Yeah, I did like the pirate episode. I like. Okay. I don't like this season. I don't like this season at all, actually. I think it's the worst season that we've had so far. But there are things in it that I do really enjoy. But I'm at a point with this show, like I don't even get excited for a new episode coming out. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Wednesday, Mandalorian's out. Like I'll watch it. Like I'm not hyped for what's going on anymore. Like there's story threads that I'm interested in, but we're doing too much random shit. And I know there was episodes like this in the other seasons, but I just feel like there's more BS in there now. We're doing too many weird things and going off. I don't know. It's lost my attention. It really has. And this last episode, this newest one, I'm just like, no, no. Like seeing Jack Black, that was cool. But seeing Jack Black and Lizzo sitting next to each other completely ripped me out. I'm watching it like this, really? Guys. It completely took me out of it. I did like Jack Black though, and I did like that he was an Imperial, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Lizzo, I love Lizzo. I think she's a great artist. I don't think she's a good actress. I really don't. I don't think she was very good. And then, Christopher Lloyd. I wish they had Christopher Lloyd in a different episode because I feel like there was too many cameos in this episode that it just kept ripping me out. It's like, oh, look, it's Lizzo and Jack Black. Whoa, it's Christopher Lloyd? Like, yeah, it's dope that he's in Star Wars, but what is like...
Yeah, I think he overstayed his welcome too.
Yes.
Like,
he should not have been the Scooby-Doo bad guy at the end.
No, yeah, that was a little weird. I think that he was in it too much. It was too much focused around him. So this could just be because I'm excited for Star Wars again for the first time. So I'm like, maybe I'm looking at this with rosier colored glasses than I normally would look at something. Because I'm just enjoying this season a lot.
Yeah.
More so maybe not from a strictly like Mandalorian only. Like this is probably, I would say, the worst season so far, but I'm still loving it. And I'm loving it because their brand, like, you can totally feel that there's no strong, cohesive story that they're telling, but that this seems like let's throw darts around in this show within this season and see if people will see what people like. Yeah. And normally I don't like that, but I think that Star Wars is in such a disjointed place right now that I think it's something that's needed. Like, this is like the Walmart of Star Wars IPs right now, where it's just like, hey, do you want these quirky little fun, let's chase some battle droids down and, like you said, Scooby-Doo villain it?
Yeah.
With some cameos? We have that. Do you want this really, like, powerful story, like, offshoot about, like, the repercussions of a republic taking over for when an empire falls and some of the bad things that are going to come of it, like some woman taking justice into her own hands and fucking shit up, like, that's not even connected to the story at all, and like this way more serious tone? We got that for you. Do you want like this story with like multiple character arcs in it with like the Mandalorian and like we said, the armor and this mythology and all this stuff? We have that too. And do I think this season suffers overall for it? Yes. But do I think that the IP is gaining something from it? I think that also, to me, I've talked myself into thinking that that's true. And it makes me more excited for the passion that's behind some of these things that, like, now if they do announce a new show, I'm not going to just be like, nope, they're going to screw it up. Like, I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it. Like, I'm actually enjoying Star Wars again for the first time since the movies. And that's, to me, I really respect that. Nothing's been that bad of this season, I don't think. Like, even the worst of it, I feel like is still pretty decent.
It's like, there's a lot of, it reminds me of like the throwaway Clone Wars episodes. There's a lot of that going on. And one thing I will say is like, it never feels like it's not Star Wars. Like, even when I'm not enjoying it, I'm like, I can still tell the passion behind it. And going off what you were saying, I guess my problem is the rapid adjusting. You know what I mean? Because it's almost as if there's these two different writers with two different ideas of what the show is, writing episodes at the same time. And it's like my radar is just all over the place. I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting into some serious shit, and then it just gets super like quirky and kind of random, and I'm like, oh, okay, and then we get back to that, you know, and I'm just having a hard time with this up and down thing where I feel like they handled both those tones better in the first and second season.
Yeah, there's definitely like, I don't know what to expect every week, and that's and that could go either way. Like for you, it's lost you kind of like if the show went away for a week or so, or if we weren't talking about this show on a week, there's a chance that you might skip it for a while.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I wouldn't skip it. I would watch it, but I don't feel like with The Last of Us, it was like I woke up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I got to get through a day of work, and then I got to watch The Last of Us. Like I don't get that, and I had that with season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian. But like I'm still have interest because I love season 1 and 2 so much, so I'm not like ready to bail. But I'm kind of at the point. I'm like, yeah, it's, you know, we're on episode 6. We got 2 episodes left, and it's like, I still don't know what we're doing, and it's just like,
I don't know
seems like
the
a
big bad of the
throwaway
season
to me. Even though there are key things, we could almost take all those key plot points and make like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of it is just
100%.
like
filler.
Yeah. But I am interested to see where the story goes still, even those little key points.
Yeah.
Like, I do want to see what happens.
Yeah, and it's gonna. I mean, when you have I hate the word divisive, but when you have that sort of up and down, polar opposite story writing in a season, it's gonna either keep people engaged because you don't know what to expect. Yeah. So it's almost like next week could be a absolute banger of an episode that can't miss, or you know, because you're like, I don't know what the show is, I'll wait and watch it later, you know, type of thing. No, so yeah, it's a crapshoot, but I'm enjoying it, and I guess at the end of the day, that's all I particularly care about.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is one of those I've really tuned out what the like zeitgeist is on the show. Normally, when it comes to shows, I'm like very much like live or die by the sword. Like if nobody's really enjoying it, my opinion's usually kind of low of it. I'm kind of just like watching it to watch it, but I've enjoyed the last 2 shows, Andor and this really sparked my love for Star Wars.
That feeling is back for sure.
And that could be clouding my judgment. Like you said, it could just be going like me going, I don't care, I love it.
A lot of people do like this season. I feel like that's what the talks are. I mean, there's some episodes people don't like, but that's always going to happen. Even happened with Last of Us, you know what I mean? But it seems like overall people are enjoying this season.
Except for media outlets. I feel like a lot of media outlets are just bashing on it, and maybe that's just because it's easier to bash on something and get clicks and people talking about how much they hate it than it is to be like, it's really good. Like, I mean, look at, like, you hear, again, we hearken this all the time, you hear 0 about Andor, and that show is fucking fantastic.
No one talked about
Andor.
Andor.
Nothing about it. So, yeah, people want bad things, which is a shame, because
they want easy things. Easy things to consume.
Yeah. So we got so there's 2 episodes left, and I don't know, maybe there's gonna be a lot of shit happening in the next 2 episodes, but
well, there's always a lot of shit happening.
Well, I mean,
could be heavy. Could be heavy.
I have a feeling there'll be a lot of tying the season together as a whole.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Because I mean, there's a lot of different things going on with, obviously, you know, the New Republic and everything with that, and all these little outer planets that aren't really associated yet, but trying to get help. But I have a feeling this is where we're really going to start bringing all those stories together for the next, if not this episode, maybe towards the end of this next episode and throughout the season finale.
Yeah. Now, so quick thing, because I always forget where this is in the timeline to what everything else is happening. Are they? So this is
5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay, so this isn't caught up to Rebels yet, because they just showed Zeb in that other episode, which was cool. I loved seeing that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I love seeing...
The CGI looked good.
Yeah. I was pissed because it got spoiled for me, because I saw the picture of it. And I was like, man, what the fuck? Yeah, but I mean, cool. It is what it is. I expect it now. But because I would have loved to see him. Like, oh my god, is that
Yeah.
a creature? Is that one of his race, or is that Zeb? And so I do like. I think it's interesting because now I can't remember how many years Rebels is after.
I think it's after
Return of
Rebels.
the Jedi
No,
too.
I'm pretty sure it's after Rebels.
No, because Rebels is after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. And this is too, but this is only. I think this is only 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
I mean, we have the internet box here. I could just look it up, but
yeah, the internet box. Yeah.
But yeah, so I would love to see like if they could get into Thrawn at all.
Yes.
AYB is that what they call
amazing.
it? AYB or
yeah, something like that. But yeah, that's one of my favorite. He was one of my favorite. I'm actually pissed that they killed off what's his name in season 2, the pirate there.
The Jamaican guy.
Why can't I think of his name? No. The why am I drawing a blank to his name? With the breathing apparatus there.
Oh,
Bane.
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane.
Yeah, there
Jesus
we go.
Christ.
Wasn't he a bounty hunter?
Yeah.
He was a bounty hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 14 years after. Oh, it's 14 years after Revenge of the Sith. So
wait, what is?
I don't know where that puts us in the Rebels.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Rebels can't be after Return of the Jedi because Darth Vader's in Rebels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's 4 years before A New Hope. So.
Okay. Yeah.
They could totally, because at the end of Rebels, Ezra and Thrawn go into some sort of black hole or some shit.
Yeah.
I need to watch all those other shows because I haven't seen any of those.
They're really good. There's some really good Star Wars content in those cartoons.
Those are all the animated ones?
Yeah.
Clone
now
Wars
I can
and
find
Rebels.
you. There's a good article that gives you like the top, because I mean, Clone Wars went on for like 7 seasons.
Oh, jeez.
And there's a lot of filler episodes, and we talked about this before. Like anytime you see it starts off with C-3PO and R2-D2 walking into some sort of encampment, you're like, I can skip this episode because it's a filler.
Yeah.
We need to save the kids we need to save the Wookiee children from this, and you're like, okay, all right, I know where this is going.
Yeah.
But then it pisses me off because at the end of the episode, it'll be like Anakin talking to somebody about something, and you're like, well, that's important. Now I had to watch this episode. God damn it!
Right.
But there's a pretty good site that has a list of all the episodes that you like have to watch.
Yes.
And again, there are some fantastic, like the ending of before they went on that break with Clone Wars. That ending with Ahsoka and Anakin was like one of the best pieces of one of the best
everything
pieces
they did
of,
with Maul,
Star Wars.
Darth Maul.
Yeah, everything with and his brother.
Mm-hmm. That shit is
and then,
crazy.
Yeah, and then Rebels too started off kind of slow and very fillery.
Yeah.
But by like the end of season 1, it started picking up, and then like seasons 2 and 3 were fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed Rebels.
Yeah. So I'll have to.
And then it ended fantastically.
And there's lots of references
to
to
it
it in
time.
Mandalorian.
Yep, lots. So yeah, we could be getting Thrawn and Ezra back, which would be great.
I think that's what Ahsoka is about. I'm pretty sure Ahsoka is about her looking for Thrawn and Ezra, because they casted Ezra, but nothing on Thrawn yet.
Okay. We all want Benedict Cumberbatch.
Absolutely. It's so
because everybody
perfect.
just wants everybody that they But going from future IPs to another future IP, this one is also, I feel like, going to become very divisive. HBO announced that they are going to be rebooting the Harry Potter franchise into a show. Now, I went on record saying that this is my dream in like a previous episode, that ultimately, all things being equal in the universe, this is what I wanted. And it's like the universe listened and they gave me this. And some people are upset, i.e. my co-hosts.
but completely goes against everything you said in your previous statements with the Moana.
Yes. It's chaos in this brain.
Yeah. All the file cabinets are open, papers everywhere.
Yep. Like, rebooting things, we love it. Like, no, we don't. Yes, we do. There's a war going on.
But here's my thought. I mean, if if are they going to reboot, or are they going to just create a Harry Potter series on HBO?
I read that they're supposed to be going more into the books, and that's why they're going to do a series so they can do more of that content.
But that's my thing. So obviously, with something that's so loved by so many fucking people, obviously, yes, I want more Harry Potter content. I do. We've had this conversation in our chat. I want more of the Harry Potter universe. I want more of this. There's so many stories that can be told. We know this. But I feel just a straight up reboot with using the characters but having different actors is just it's just going to be so heartbreaking to so many fucking people.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I you can't deny that it's hard to reboot something when it's so well beloved. It would be like them going back and rebooting the MCU from the first Iron Man with somebody else. It would just be almost impossible. It seems like it would be impossible.
Yeah. But not only that, but it's still so new. I mean, it's
not really. I mean, the movies came out in 2001. You're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah, but the last one was like 2013, 2012.
Yeah, which is still 11 years ago. So it is weird. It's things have been rebooted faster. I mean, look at how many Spider-Mans there are that have been. Yeah, it's difficult, and I think that the only way that they could make it. Now, again, there's not much. Again, just like the Game of Thrones thing, there's not much that's been said. Just that they would be doing the books, but I think that there's room for this to be like I agree. Like, as excited as I am with you, I agree with you that as excited, as pumped as I am for this could turn out terribly. This could be a disaster. Yes. I have faith in HBO, in the people who put together shows and ideas at that company. So if I was a betting man, which I am, I would gamble to say that it won't be. And I would use something like The Last of Us as an example, that you can take a fresh new IP that everyone already knows, like, well, not everyone, but the majority of people know that story, and tell it and dive deeper into some things, and people still love it. And that's I would say that this getting greenlit is very strongly connected in some way, to The Last of Us being successful. I'm sure that this has been sitting on a shelf for a while, because HBO, or I don't know what company owns Warner Brothers, must be connected with HBO in some way, where they've had the movies on there forever now. I'm sure that this was on some executive shelf, like, hey, we should reboot the Harry Potter franchise, and that he looked at it and went, I don't know, well, we're doing the Last of Us thing, let's present that in a way like where if people really like that, maybe we can green light this and put some effort into that. There is room to go deeper into other stories within this story, like, it doesn't have to be necessarily verbatim book for book, but people have been asking for a Snape spinoff forever, like a young Snape in the younger years, of how he turned to a Death Eater and then back and all that stuff. And maybe something like that exists within this show, which could be something good.
Adam Driver could do that.
Yep. That's what everybody's, Comic-Con fantasies are. Yeah. Everyone's role play thing is, but yeah, I don't know. I think that, again, if this was some other company doing it, I probably would be not on board. If this was like a Hulu or, God forbid, a Netflix. I mean, Netflix could be straight anarchy, because it could be the worst thing in the world or the best thing in the world, because that's how Netflix operates. But with HBO behind it, I'm not too thrown off by it, which is, again, normally not my thing. What are your thoughts on it, Josh?
I hate it. I hate everything about this. I'm enraged. I'm so upset. I feel like Harry Potter, for me, is one of those things you don't reboot. Like Star Wars. You just don't reboot Star Wars. You don't do it. And they're doing it. And I hate it. And I don't want it to happen. But you know what? It's gonna be fire. And that pisses me off more. That makes me even more upset because I want it to be garbage. I want fucking Peacock to make this and it to be trash. So I can be like, fuck that. I don't even gotta watch that shit. Fuck them. But HBO's doing it.
Yes.
It's like, I hate you. Why would you have HBO do it? Oh, we're gonna make a series about the books. That's a brilliant idea. I fucking hate it. It's so dumb. Yeah, that's my time. I'm in between. I'm so in between. I hate it. I don't want them to do it, but they're gonna do it, and I'm gonna watch it, and it's gonna be dope. And but I don't want them to. I want them to expand and do prequels. I don't want a reboot. Ever Back to the Future, Star Wars, Harry Potter, ever. Don't do it. But it's gonna be fucking fire.
Yeah, I mean, there's a universe that it can exist. You know, you can, and I only go back to this because the only examples that we really have of beloved characters being something else. And I mean, we saw it with Spider-Man movies. You know, everyone loves the newer ones. Everyone loves the Tobey Maguire ones.
That was good.
You can see where my brain's so split here
Yeah.
about this. Like, and I agree. Like, I get it too, man. The Harry Potter thing it's very much I don't know. I feel like anybody who read the books and watched the movies might be on the same page that I am, because there was a ton of stuff that they didn't explore that you wanted to see in the movies. But you understand that it's, you know, the run times, you can't make 4-hour movies. Like, you just can't do it.
I mean, you can.
And I mean, how this is such the way of everything now, where it's like these giant IPs are just going to become TV shows, because where movies make a ton of money and are great, it's like when you start making too many crap movies, or if you've seen it where it's like, if you try and launch a new movie series and it fails in the beginning, it's like, well, are people going to want to invest $200 million into making more movies of this, where it's not going to work, where a lot of these giant IPs that have a ton of story to tell are just going to become TV shows now. And the quality of TV shows has skyrocketed to the point where I would say the best pieces of media over the past 2 years have been TV shows and not movies. I think it's by far better. There's been better media presented in way of TV shows than there has of movies. And
you're seeing better CGI and fucking shit in TV shows than you are in actual movies that are being released at the same fucking time. It's insane.
Yeah, it's wild. It's pretty crazy. And because there's the space for it, and I would be interested to see like what the money benefit is between studios making TV shows as opposed to movies. Like, movies get the quick, you know, you open up in $200 million openings for the weekend. Great, that's $200 million. But over the long run, if you have somebody paying for a subscription to a network because they have that show on there, what is the balance to that, you know?
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting. We're in a great time. I mean, it's a great time to be alive. Where we
so
get to argue
content
about like, I don't want a reboot of Harry Potter.
No.
That's the complaints we
like,
get
I
to
have a choice now.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
And I haven't really, because again, this was pretty new. I haven't really. It's been weird that I've seen more positivity for it than negativity. Like, you would think something as beloved would be not as, like, more people would be on your side, Josh, where they're like, I don't want this at all. But I feel like it's pretty overall, like, everyone feels like it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't really looked or read comments about shit. I don't know. And because there's not much info really out there.
Right.
It's not like there's no thing announced. I'm sure once stuff becomes announced, like, oh, they're casting for it now. People are going to get upset or not upset. And like you said, you know, one of them's going to be black. Somebody in that school is going to be trans. Although not if J.K. Rowling has anything to do with it. And that's the big thing too. Like, she was she was involved with the game, but only for story aspect. Yeah, it's weird. That's probably why the original cast won't come back. They've said that they won't touch it because if she's attached to it. So it's interesting to see, money probably talks. Bullshit
Money
walks,
always talks. It's Hollywood.
Yep.
So I mean,
business.
If we're gonna choose between a Moana live action movie, if they're gonna announce that, of course we're getting a reboot of Harry Potter. Like, of course. So.
Oh my god.
I don't know. It feels a little anticlimactic to end with Shrek 5, so I don't know if you guys want to.
We can skip it if you
end
want.
with that or the drink, yeah. Because I literally have nothing to say about that.
Yeah, and I feel like I've already gotten beaten up. Moana punched me in the face. Harry Potter kneed me in the balls, and it's like, yo, Shrek 5. It's like, guys, I'm bleeding. Can't get up.
Shrek 5 and a donkey spinoff.
Yeah, and a donkey spinoff. Sounds like a porn. We derailed. We've officially, the train is completely off the tracks.
And you guys wonder why I fucking drink.
Absolutely.
No, seriously. Oh, man. All right, Tuck. What is the drink of the week, speaking of all that?
Fuck yeah. Yeah. So, we're going to go with fucking beer today. I'm going to make you guys a michelada.
Okay, I like these. I've had a couple of these before.
Obviously, I'm going to make it a little different. Got to. I don't have any chamoy. I actually need to go pick some up. But I do have tahini. And I have this wonderful stuff, infused salts that I got from a friend of mine on TikTok. That she infuses her own salts. You can buy her shit on Etsy called Sin City Salts. They're fucking amazing. So I do have a little bit of, I'm going to do a little bit of the tahini. And I'm going to do some salt. Because I want some salt on there. 2 spots because it's not going to take long. I like spice, so I'm going to add a little ghost pepper sauce to mine.
Now, how hot is that stuff, to tell you?
It's hot. Yeah, this actually has a pretty good pain to it. That's like actual like ghost pepper hot stuff. It's one of the Melinda's stuff, and it's really good. And but for Zing Zang, because why not?
It's a great reason. Because
that's
why not?
Why not? But we'll add a little tequila to it too. Why not?
Why not?
Going to bed anyway.
You're gonna wake up with the.
We're gonna stick with it. We're gonna go with it. So, and we're gonna go with Modelo.
Nice, good choice.
Yeah, I foamed it. It smells really good. Second Modelo. No, it's a big glass.
I had a Modelo from the tap last week, which I had never had before. Always out of bottles or cans, and it was it's good. It's fresh.
I'm gonna add the rest of that tahini and the salt in there.
You gotta show the color. You gotta show the color of it.
That salt is delicious. And that salt is
good.
actually there. It's called her cinchalada salt. So it's actually made for chiladas and stuff like that. It's got like tomato base and all that stuff, and it's delicious. And there's the lime with the tahini. Gotta have it. But yeah, that's a nice. That's a good
water.
red beer right there.
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's a bellyache.
I'll be waking up at 3 a.m. to take some Tums.
Yeah. Damn. Hell yeah.
Delicious. Micheladas are fantastic. Great places around here in Manchester that fucking sell them. Go get them. Make them at home. Enjoy. Have a good time.
Hell yeah.
It's the beast as always.
Hey.
I'm over here chugging water.
I've been drinking 2 turnt Tonys. Teas all night.
What's in that?
It's just it's a no carbonation, so it's not a seltzer, but it's a hard iced lemon tea.
It's almost the Mike's hard time. Almost time to have the 25 piece patio set out there with the table, the chair, and 24 beers. Take some, Josh.
That's all we got today on Personified Fandom episode 16. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share. Mike, where can they find you?
I'm actually tomorrow, as this post goes out, I am posting my episode 11 of my top 100 movies of all time.
Finally,
featuring my girlfriend. I know, seriously. And then I'm going to schedule the live stream of the top 10. So I will keep you posted. We'll post about it. I might just do it right before we record one of these to get it all nice and neatly in a bow. But yeah, I actually really, I'm really going to advertise that episode with me and my girlfriend because it was really funny. I think our dynamic is really good. It was fun to edit. I did 2 different shots, so it took forever.
Yeah.
It took me about, I would say, it's a 20-minute episode. It probably took me 4 hours to edit, just jumping back in between the cameras. Woof. Man, it makes me think about if we want to do a podcast together, and I'm like,
the more you do it, it gets a lot easier. Because when I first started doing that, with me and Daring shots and then the main shot, and it was hard. But I feel like as you do it more often, you cut it so quick going through, like you know where to place it. And but having multiple shots is so dope. I just love the way it ends up looking when you're done with it.
It flows, it flows too. So it's great, and it's like fun because you can like take a camera off somebody and put it on like to just their reactions when they're talking. And it makes it so much funnier. It's great time. But I digress. But that's what I got going on.
Awesome. And Toke, where can they find you drinking?
You can find me drinking on TikTok. Haven't posted a whole hell of a lot of content lately here, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. But you will find me lives almost every Friday, Saturday night, still interacting with everybody and having a good time. So if you want to come over there, you can find me at toke.24_NR.
Hell yeah. And that'll be a wrap for us. Until next time, everybody.
Peace out. See you next week.
Oh, hey, look at you. You made it to the end of the video. Well, if you like what you saw, be sure to hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button. Should be over here, I hope. Also, check out some of the other videos we have on the channel right over here. Do it. Click the video. Click the video. Dude.